what are you thoroughly enjoying about artificial intelligence?
So here's the thing. I don't know if there's anything that I'm like consciously enjoying. You know what I mean? Like, is it good? And do I abuse the use of Siri? Absolutely. You know, hey Siri, set an alarm for 6 a.m. You know, hey Siri, what's the weather? You know, I'm using her, you know.
I just love the way you say her name. Hey Siri.
I sound like Freddie Jean. If anybody know Freddie Jean on TikTok.
I cannot.
You don't know Miss Freddie Jean?
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Okay, I'm gonna send you the TikTok later. Anyway, so I make a lot of use of Siri specifically. And so I'm like, oh, that's good. But I'm trying to think of other ways in which I'm like cognizant and like conscious of using AI. Because I think that's the thing, right? I think a lot of us are making use of AI and it's having all of this impact in our day-to-day life and we just don't know it.
So I think that's the important part of what you said, consciously, right? Like, I don't even think that people think about Siri as being AI. Right? I don't think people think about autocorrect being AI. I don't think people think about the various different ways that AI is already showing up in our lives.
Go ahead. While you talk, I'm gonna pull out your a tool out of your book.
Well, we're going to get a definition here any moment, I promise you. What I appreciate about the fan for me would be, I appreciate the way that it has made my life easier, because you just used one of the perfect examples of the ways that I'm always using AI. I probably ask Siri to set an alarm or a timer at least 4 or 5 times a day, right? With the calendar that I have, I love to set an alarm for 10 minutes before I got to do some shit so I can snooze it and have another minute, right? Before I got to get in the Zoom meeting or make that phone call or whatever it is. Like, that is one of the things that I love so much. And it's so much more convenient to be able to do it on my watch, do it on my phone, to be able to walk into the house and say, you know, Siri or Google or whatever the shit is that I'm using at the time. Alexa is artificial intelligence, right? Alexa is able to buy on your behalf, able to do all types of things, play the music, stop the thing, turn the lights on, do all types of things like that. And like, those kinds of things are artificial intelligence, right? They're figuring out what you're saying, what you're asking for, and being able to translate that into an action. And like, it's something that I think people are using unconsciously a lot more than they think they are.
Okay, so I was reading a little like, you know, academic definition, because, you know, sometimes, you know, it's the sociologist in me. What can I say? But
translation, you weren't listening to me.
No, I was listening to you because I'm multitasking, okay? I mean, listen, you talked about Alexa ordering stuff for you and starting the music and stopping it. I was paying attention. Thank you very much.
That ain't what I said at all.
Artificial intelligence, this is the Wikipedia definition, not the academic article that I was perusing. Artificial intelligence is intelligence, perceiving, synthesizing, and inferring information demonstrated by machines, as opposed to intelligence displayed by humans or other animals. Example tasks in which this is done include speech recognition, computer vision, translation between languages, as well as other mappings of inputs. AI applications include advanced web search engines.
Not Ask Jeeves.
Recommendation system. Well, it says, for example, Google search. Recommendation systems.
You said advanced. Ask Jeeves was not advanced.
Valid point. Yes. Valid point. AI applications include advanced web search engines, recommendation systems, which are used by YouTube, Amazon, and Netflix, understanding human speech, such as Siri and Alexa, self-driving cars, generative or creative tools, which is what ChatGPT is, and AI art, as well as automated decision making and competing at the highest level in strategic game systems such as chess.
But like, to me, I think that some people really think that like they started using AI when they put their photos into Lensa and got those different animated looking photos of themselves, right? And it's like, yeah, that's one version of AI, but you've probably been using AI for a decade at least and did not know it. But like, I'm kind of concerned about the ways that like we are unconsciously using it. And the reason that it's concerning to me from an unconscious perspective is that like we are not even aware of the ways that it's collecting data on us, right? Of the ways that it is hearing our voices, learning our voices, getting used to the way that we write.
Oh, yes.
I will tell you that Gmail, the replies down at the bottom of the email still haven't figured out that I'm writing in all lowercase or what my voice is giving when I'm writing. But like, she's going to figure it out sooner or later, I know.
You know, when I think about like the quote unquote benefits, right? The fan parts of artificial intelligence as defined as, you know, that definition, I'm just like, oh wow, there's actually like a lot of positivity that we've already, you know, experienced.
What do you mean by that?
A lot of positive benefits that we've already experienced, right, as a result of artificial intelligence. All of the different types of convenience, you know, the fact that I could go on Google and, you know, pull this up, right? Like how everybody has made use of autocorrect, right? Like all of these different things. And it's like, oh, wow, actually, you know, you've been swimming in these AI waters for a little minute, you know, and I was going to say prior to that definition, I was going to say that like, I'm sure AI has the benefit and the possibility of like, just like improving, you know, a variety of circumstances for folks with, you know, various health or ability, you know, situations that they're navigating, and thinking of how AI can, you know, be produce some sort of solve or solution or aid in helping them navigate the world.
But like, I feel like this is a good opportunity for us to move into the anti, right? I think we're kind of clear on what we appreciate about her, but the real concern for me about AI actually only recently started. I was on a plane and I remember reading an article that CNET, the tech website, had been using AI to populate certain articles. And I was like, wait, what? And that was really alarming to me. And as I read the piece, they were talking about how they had been using AI to populate certain types of articles where it was aggregated data of like with numbers, right? Watching the markets and that kind of stuff. And then there was a live human that was editing that. And it was alarming to me because I was like, oh, this is the beginning of like a bigger problem for us in journalism, right? Journalism is already under attack in many different ways that we're familiar with. But like, I was thinking to myself, like, oh, that's jobs, right? There's someone whose job it was to analyze the markets and be able to synthesize what was happening. And AI is going to be doing that now in a way that is probably in some ways a little bit more foolproof, but also in a way that is going to have like none of the nuance of humanity in it. And like, that distinction, I think, is really, really important. But then you pointed out to me that BuzzFeed had said, I think it was you that pointed out to me that said BuzzFeed was going to be using AI to replace some of their journalists who are doing the diversity verticals. When I was at NBC News as a freelancer, we had verticals like NBC BLK, which was content that was for, by, and about Black people. We had NBC Out, which was content for, by, and about LGBTQ plus people. And so about the LGBTQ plus community. And so the idea that they're going to use AI to kind of replace diversity verticals at BuzzFeed, one, I think is disrespectful as fuck. Right? Like, we'll try it out on you people, right? On your stories and your humanity and and the ways that we value you. That was alarming to me. But it's also like concerning just as a journalist in general, like the idea that these kinds of things are happening. And I don't really know what we can even do about it.
Just to, you know, little asterisk there. It was the company that owns Huffington Post and BuzzFeed. They said that they did not say that they were going to use AI to replace journalists who are doing that work, but
well, right,
that's ultimately the impact, right? The impact is that, if and when it becomes a profitable thing, right? And something that it can be automated, right? That likely the folks who are part of doing that storytelling on those types of spaces might be impacted. But also, right, newsrooms have been already using artificial intelligence, and we just don't know whether that's in the writing of captions, whether that is in the writing of pieces, right? We've seen, I think you mentioned CNET. There was another outlet that tested it out, has been testing it out. And so I think that is definitely like a major concern and thing we should be thinking about. But here's the thing, right? It's going to come regardless, right? Like newsrooms are getting smaller. They are shuttering every day, right? Literally.
Mm-hmm.
2 major entities made layoffs in the last 7 days, and part of a long list of other major entities making layoffs all this year, especially. And so figuring out how AI shows up in news is something that we're gonna have to get a grapple on. Especially, I now think about, all of the what is it, what they call them, the deep fake stuff, right? And you can have artificial intelligence art, right? Like AI art. You can do AI music, right? We've seen these different stories pop up in many different fields about the impact of AI on what they do. And so my main question is, what will become of art and creativity, in light of where it seems like artificial intelligence is going, right? Because apparently we've been all at this artificial intelligence thing for a little minute. We just did not know.